Hi, I'm Phyllis and my website is southernfrugal.com. Tonight, and it is night, it's like 7 o'clock, and we have been working in the yard pretty much all day, and so I'm cooking our big meal late. So I'm tired, y'all. I'm really tired, but and not used to the exercise because we stay in the house most of the summer because you can't stand the gnats, the mosquitoes, and the humidity. But we've got cooler weather now, so we're getting a lot done. But anyway, we're going to fix a meal that's going to be ready in less than 30 minutes. So it's going to be Greek flounder. That's what we'll call it, Greek flounder, because I'm going to use the ingredients that they use when they're making Greek food. So, and I really love it. We had this fish, it wasn't flounder, but it was fish, at Elite Epicurean several years ago, and it was absolutely delicious. And we had a friend and his wife were with us, and he couldn't stand any kind of fish, but he had had a couple of drinks, and we talked him into it, and he loved it. So anyway, here we go. All right, so I've already cooked my rice, by the way, and we're going to have rice with this, and we're going to have some of those Aldi little tiny green beans that are frozen. All right, so I've got my skillet kind of heated up here, and we are going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter to that. Don't want the skillet too hot though. So we start out with olive oil. We're adding butter to that. The skillet's too hot. Take it out and cool it off a bit. All right, so to that we're going to add one medium onion, just kind of rough chopped. And what we want to do with this is actually get those onions just the slightest bit brown, and the butter is going to help that happen. Yeah, so let me move this back up now. Hold on, because it's going to take a few minutes for these onions to get a little color on them. Not just translucent, but actually a little color. Yeah, so I'm having this with, fixing this with Flounder Fillets. They're wild caught. I did buy them at, now let me see if I pronounce the name of the store. We have got a new brother of the guy who did Aldi, and it's called, the name of it is L-I-D-L, Lidl. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but that's where I got the flounder. And so I also got some scallops there. But anyway, these are wild caught, and I think probably in the Atlantic, maybe even the Chesapeake Bay, I'm not sure. Because I think they've got a main office in Alexandria, Virginia, I think. Anyway, so we're going to get this brown, and the fillets are about 4 ounces each, which is exactly what I like, 4 ounces of meat, chicken, pork, whatever. 4 ounces works good. Now there are exceptions to that. If we had something like prime rib, I'm going to eat more than 4 ounces of it. But basically, we try to keep it to 4 ounces, and then fill in with vegetables and all. Now, the rice is, of course, the jasmine rice, and I fixed a whole pot because what's left, I'm going to make some rice pudding so that we'll have something to eat tomorrow that will give us energy, and rice pudding does that for us. So that way we have enough energy to get the work done. And by the way, I am enjoying working out in the yard, and so I will explain to y'all why we don't work out in the yard in the summertime very much. Because when you start working around the shrubbery beds, we've got mulch there, That's really, in the pine straw is where the gnats breed. So when you start disturbing the pine straw, now we've only got one pine tree out in the front, but the gnats just swarm up. So you have to wait till you've got a little bit of cold weather, and that way the gnats, first of all, they can't fly as fast in cold weather, and they also, they get in your eyes, they can give you an eye infection, they try to crawl in your ears, and so that's why. And plus the humidity that we have here in South Carolina, and I think the main reason for that, we actually have more humidity than they do on the coast, if y'all can believe that, but it's true, and the main reason is because that way we have a huge Lake Murray, and this way, I forget the name of the lake, but another huge lake, and a lot of the thunderstorms kind of come off, or because of the lakes. But you can be driving, coming back from Charleston, and when you hit the humidity caused by the two lakes, you can almost tell about halfway back from Charleston, you start getting some major humidity. And if y'all are from central South Carolina and watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Terrible humidity. So we stay inside during that time, kind of like people in colder climates stay inside a lot when it's snowing and really super cold weather. Yeah, you don't see people out jogging or anything, or, you know, strolling their baby in the baby carriage, but this time of year you do see that a lot in our little town. All right, so we've got a little bit of brown on these onions. I'm going to go ahead and cut that burner off. Now this meal is, or the fish is going to be cooked in the oven. I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees, and this is, if this has to cook 15 minutes, I would be surprised. More like 10, 12 minutes, and the fish will be done. Now, I did thaw it out in the refrigerator. All right, so we've got the onions, a little bit of color on them, just the teeniest bit of color. So now I'm going to dump in, this is vine-ripened tomato, probably the last of the season, and they're in big chunks. I'm going to dump that in. Get that last little bit out. Now I've already got my burner off, and I'm going to dump in some chopped black olives. Actually, I chopped them myself. They were actually just sliced black olives. Just stir that around a little bit. All right, now to that, we're going to add a little bit of basil. Now I'm just going to put this in my hand, and I will tell you that it's probably about a teaspoon of dried basil. I just kind of crunch it up, even though it's chopped anyway. Sprinkle it around. We're going to do the same with some oregano right there. I'm going to dump it out in my hand, and I'm going to say about a teaspoon of that. Sprinkle that all around. Now, if you had fresh garlic, you could use that. A couple of cloves of garlic would work, the big garlic, and you would put that in right after you got a little bit of color on the onion. Some will sprinkle about a teaspoon of garlic powder. That looks like about a teaspoon to me. And the best thing to use is white wine, which I have none of, so I'm going to use about, I don't know, a couple of tablespoons of cooking sherry. Sprinkle that around. Now, if you don't want to use the cooking sherry or white wine, it's perfectly okay to sprinkle in maybe the juice of half a lemon. That would work. All right, let's get this all lined up right now. We're going to put our flounder fillets right on top. these are very thin, but they are 4 ounces. So I'm going to put them right on top, just like that. I love flounder because it kind of tastes earthy. All right, there it is. Now, I'm going to put the lid on this because these are really going to kind of steam. Put the lid on that, and we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to check it in about 10 minutes. Now, the tomatoes, of course, will cook really fast, and the spices will all mingle in there. And so I'm going to put it in the oven at 425 degrees for 10 minutes, check it, maybe 15 minutes at the most. These are very thin, only 4 ounces. All right, we'll be back, and I'm going to fix some green beans, so hold on. All right, we are back and ready to start the beans. I'm just going to use maybe a tablespoon of butter. In a new skillet here, sorry I had to walk away, get some water. I actually got a little chip in this skillet. This is one I've had for a while. I've got my heat on medium. Wait a minute, let that butter melt a little bit. This is maybe 1.5 cups of the Aldi's extra fine green beans. They are absolutely delicious. I just totally love them. And they used to come from France. I was trying to read the back here. Yeah, product of France. That's where they come from. All right, so we're just going to dump these in. That's all of them. Now, they're going to have moisture in them. Of course, they're fresh frozen green beans. And see how little they are? I know I've talked about these before. They are just absolutely delicious. So I'm going to let them kind of soak up some of that butter or get coated a little bit with the butter. All right, so these are going to cook for a few minutes. All right, let's talk, okay? All right, I'm going to move it back a little bit. All right, so yesterday I had a viewer write in and mention that I didn't put salt in the buttermilk pie, I think it was, and they actually said I didn't put salt in the pie crust, but I in fact did. So, but still, I wanted to talk to you about the salt. Now, you notice the meal or the flounder and the Greek type vegetables and spices that I put in, I did not put any salt. And this is what we have found out. When you have something that has kind of a strong taste, you really almost don't miss the salt. And so we have been cutting way, way back on our salt and watching what we eat. Like Mr. Bucky does, he never ever eats pig skins again. You know the kind you get in the store. They seem to always have buy one get one free, so he always gets 2. But he hadn't done that in a while, and of course he lost a lot of weight. I did not lose any, but he always ate more salt than me. But now I'm really watching it when we're cooking stuff. And of course you do need some salt. Obviously you need some salt. But it's really surprising that after a while you really don't miss it, and you start, all right, watch this. I can do this pretty good. Watch this. All right, it takes about 3 times to get them over on the other so that they're all turned over. See how well coated they are now? Can y'all see that? Let you see that, yeah. So anyway, so back to the salt. So it turned out I did put salt in the pie crust because it's really hard to make a pie crust. You do have to have some salt. But when I made the peanut butter pie crust, of course the peanut butter has got salt in it. So I didn't put any more salt. But there are just many things that you can make, especially if they taste strong, that you don't have to put salt in at all. And one of them is like when I fix broccoli, I never put salt in it anymore because it's strong tasting. Really the same is true with cabbage. Now, I do still use salted butter. And I've been asked many times, why do I use salted butter? Because several years ago, I always used unsalted for baking and making cakes and all that. And I got a pound of butter, with the 4 little things of butter. And they were all rancid, terrible. And I just couldn't stand the thought that I had butter and was in the middle of getting ready to bake something, probably a cake. I really don't remember now, but it just really irritated me so bad. I thought, I'm never buying this kind of butter again. And I have heard other people say the same thing. I think the salt does a better job preserving the butter. And so that's really the main reason that I use salted butter. So if we've got salted butter, then and you put butter on stuff, then you do have some salt in it. All right, we're ready to flip these again. I'm rather proud of myself for this. All right, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. See, we didn't spill any anywhere. All right. So anyway, that's the story on the salt. And now I was never one to eat a lot of salt. I never ever remember putting any extra salt on my food. When you go out to a restaurant, I never ever did that. But once you're not using as much salt, then you don't need as much. I mean, it takes a while to get used to not having the salt, because I know, and I have had friends like this, they won't even taste of the food, they just salt everything. I worked with a lady that did, no matter what, if it was French fries from McDonald's, she would grab the salt shaker and just put more salt on them. So obviously we don't need that much salt. So we are trying to keep our salt down to under 1,000 milligrams per day. And I think we do that and probably less most days. And of course now, the smoothies have no salt whatsoever in them, other than if I use peanut butter and there'd be a little bit in there. But basically, we just don't use as much salt as we did. Now, the fish that's in the oven, it's 10 minutes. Hold on, I gotta check and see if it's done. Hold on. All right, we got 5 more minutes and the fish will be done. Now that's mainly because I'm cooking, I've got the lid on and it's really steaming. All right, we're gonna flip these one more time. Got just a teeny bit of brown on them. There we go. See, they've got just a teeny bit of brown on them. And that of course happens because I'm cooking them in butter. So, okay, I hope that sort of explains the salt thing. And of course, most of y'all know I am highly allergic to black pepper. So the only thing that I ever use that's got black pepper would be the Old Bay, and it's got some. So when I put it in anything, I have to hold it up to the exhaust fan because the pepper I'm allergic to is when it floats in the air. And the ingredient in the pepper that I'm so allergic to is the pepperine. It floats in the air, and if I breathe it in, it just causes some major problems. So we just don't even have pepper in the house other than in the Old Bay. And again, I use the fan and make sure the pepper gets wet. That way I don't have a problem. All right, so our beans are done, our rice is done, and in just about 2 or 3 more minutes, the fish is going to be done and we'll show you what it looks like on the plate. All right, I hope that answers some of the questions about the salt. I think that it's much healthier to not have so much salt. And if you are eating out a lot, you're most likely getting a lot of salt. So anyway, we'll be back and I'll show you what this looks like on the plate. We'll be back. I'm sorry, we're back already. I forgot to show you what I do with these beans. I put just a couple of teaspoons of water in them, turn my burner off, and of course that way they finish cooking. and that water will, of course, pretty much all evaporate. All right, let me get this on the plates. All right, we are ready to eat, and here's Mr. Bucky's plate. Of course, I've already got our tea fixed, and what he'll do is put those tomatoes on his rice. I like my rice without the tomatoes on it, and there are the beans. I want to see if the little brown would show up. Yeah, can you see the little brown on it? And just put a couple of teaspoons in after you get a little brown on some of the beans. Now they'll still be a little bit crunchy, which is the way I really super like them. All right, y'all, we will see y'all next time, and I hope this has helped. Now, if you're Greek and this doesn't look Greek to you, I think the only thing, I'm not sure if y'all would put the black olives in or not, but the restaurant we went to had black olives, so I always use them. All right, y'all, we will see y'all next time. And by the way, it is about 28 minutes past 7 now, so this is definitely a 30-minute meal. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.